Hello. All right. So, do nice girls finish last? Honestly, sometimes yes. And I say that as someone who is a nice girl. And when I use the term nice girl, I'm not saying it in a negative way or as a pejorative. I'm just talking about, women who are deeply intuitive, who are naturally healers, who give a lot and care a lot, have a deep heart, have deep presence, and, give a lot to those around them. So, if you're a woman who is loving, compassionate, dependable, intuitive, always helping, always holding things together for everybody else, but then somehow your life seems to move slower than it should. And everyone around you benefits from your presence. This is for you. And so there's nothing wrong with being a nice girl. It's just that sometimes nice girls need a different strategy than others. Let me give you 3 signs that you might be in this pattern. So one way that you might be able to identify if, you're a nice girl is if everyone around you is thriving, but you feel stuck. So you may give like advice, help, support. You may have a stabilizing energy. You care deeply about the people around you. And like maybe people at the workplace rely on you, and your friends come to you and divulge all their secrets to you, and people trust you. And this is beautiful. But the question would be, are you pouring so much life force into everyone and everything else that your dreams keep getting delayed? And if the answer is yes, then it might not be because you're, lazy or unmotivated or a procrastinator or you're lacking discipline. It just may be that you are um, over invested outwardly. And that is something very common for, us nice girls. Um, Another sign that you might be in this pattern is that, you're so good, like, and so valued where you're at that nobody wants to release you from that position. So at work, maybe you're the dependable one, or like in maybe your family, you're the one who has it all together and you're the reliable one, or in your friend group, you're the trustworthy one that kind of neutralizes and stabilizes and holds everything together. And people love you a lot in this position, people love you a lot. But then, this is also where you're getting trapped because it doesn't look like a bad thing. It looks like it's a good thing because you're adding value to people's lives and you're appreciated and you're needed and you're valued. But sometimes, listen, sometimes being valued for what you provide to people is not the same thing as being supported in who you're becoming. And the third sign that, you might be in this pattern is if traditional mainstream, self-improvement advice, it doesn't work for you. So, you try to push harder, you try to be more disciplined, you try to have better systems, you try and try and try. And for some reason, instead of like feeling that you're gaining traction, you just end up feeling exhausted and depleted. And this is because not every woman's energy thrives through this kind of like constant pushing and force. For some women, yes, it's beautiful. They're like on that boss babe energy and they're calling the shots and they're grabbing the reins of their life. And that's beautiful. But for some women that are like more receptive, intuitive, internally potent, this aggressive output and just amping up the output, it doesn't really get anywhere. It just leads to exhaustion. So, for some women, their power doesn't rest in like how hard they can push forward. For some women, their power is in their presence, just period. Some women, their power is in their magnetism and their coherence, the coherence they bring when they step into a room or a situation. And their power is amplified, and their power is what happens when their energy is fully in them, embodied in them, instead of constantly being projected outward to the next goal or milestone. So if you resonate with any of the things that I've just been talking about, maybe you have a big heart, you have a deep capacity, you're super intelligent, but you also have a habit of like giving yourself away because you're such a nice girl. um, I can give you 3 shifts that might help you. So, shift number 1 would be to reclaim your own energy daily. And in our world today, there's a lot of stuff outside of you that can take your attention. We got distractions everywhere. We're always moving on to the next thing. Everything's super busy. So, one of the most radical things that you can do is to literally do absolutely nothing for 20 minutes every day. Just letting your attention come back into your own body. And it might sound like something so simple, but a lot of us, we're having our attention and our energy pushed out of our body every moment of every day. And so just simply doing nothing for 20 minutes can be very radically re-energizing. This is why I love Yoga Nidra. The best way that I've found to do this is through Yoga Nidra. It regulates your nervous system, and it brings your awareness back inward to you. So, all that, we've already discussed, if you're a nice girl, your energy is super restorative and healing and uplifting and supportive to everyone around you. So, what will happen when you stop giving that away and start putting it back inside? So, I like Yoga Nidra for this. I mean, you could do it anyway, but I have Yoga Nidras on this channel that you may wish to explore for that purpose. I would recommend you to give it a go, because when you start pouring, if you do have this type of energy, this nice girl energy, and you start pouring that back into you, you will become more magnetic, more grounded, more clear, more peaceful, and more potent and more powerful. So shift number 2 that you can do, if you have the nice girl energy, is stop waiting to be treated well and teach reality how to treat you. And this is very simple. The world that we live in, your external reality is a beautiful mirror for you. And so you can treat reality how to teach you, how to treat you. You can teach reality how to treat you, I meant to say. So if you're constantly overriding your own comfort and you're minimizing your own needs and making yourself the least important person in every equation, life will start to reflect that back to you. So, in small ways, you can begin to choose yourself first and choose your own comfort. You can choose softness. You can choose the better option when you can. You can let things be a little bit easier for you incrementally, day by day. And this is not being lazy or self indulgent, it's just being gentle with yourself. And this is repatterning your nervous system to realize that it is normal and safe to prioritize yourself. It is normal and safe for you to receive. It is normal and safe for you to be, a princess. Give yourself the princess treatment. One little simple thing you can do, even just in the upcoming week, is, if you don't really want to do something, just say no. It's okay. It's going to be okay. If you say no to something, if you say no to something one time, it's going to be okay. Just try it. Just try it. Like a little life hack is, a lot of times I used to find myself, when people would ask me to do something or ask me if I want to go somewhere, even I don't really want to go, I will default to saying yes because I would default to saying yes when I don't have a good reason to say no. I'm like, I don't have a compelling reason to say no, so I guess I can do it. But that's so silly. I want you to flip that and say no unless you have a compelling reason to say yes. Just let your default answer to anybody ask you anything, just let your default be no. And then if you can find a good reason that you want to do it, that then switch your answer to yes. It's better to, you know, under promise and over deliver. Okay, shift number 3. And honestly, this is the deepest one. Look at your family system because because a lot of it, when you're a little kid and you're growing up, your brain doesn't have the rationalization faculty developed yet. So you're like a little sponge and you're just absorbing everything that happens to you. You're just interpreting things without a filter and you're taking it as gospel. And these things, these impressions that you're absorbing as a small child, it becomes the root foundation of your subconscious and of your like framework. So, um, a lot of us, in our family systems growing up, we've had to be like the peacemaker or the helper or like the emotional caretaker of other people or like the good girl or like the kid who doesn't get in trouble or, you don't ask for too much and things like that. And so a lot of these roles and coping mechanisms in the family were formed before you were old enough to like question them or even choose them for yourself. Um, so if if this is you, if you remember that as a kid, you you were the one who got along, you tried to get good grades, you didn't make waves, you didn't ask for a lot. Sometimes that pattern that you develop as a young child, you don't even recognize it, and then you grow up and that same pattern runs your adult life. So, this is why I've become really interested in family constellations and subconscious pattern work because sometimes the issue is not, oh, you just need more motivation. Sometimes, you're loyal to an old identity that was created inside of your family system. So, with family constellations and subconscious pattern work, what we do is we start to like take the lid off that can of worms and we start to pull out those things that we've always took for granted and we start to look at them and we start to untangle those knots and we start to say like, is this a helpful pattern? Is this not a helpful pattern? And we can, decide consciously to release the things that we had adopted unconsciously. So this can be a very strong thing to do. So if you've been the woman who is always there for everybody else, and you're this type of woman, you're deeply loving and deeply capable and deeply intuitive and deeply receptive and sensitive, you might be realizing that like your life is asking for a new strategy and maybe this is just a time in life where you're ready to be a little bit more easeful. Maybe you don't need to like push a little bit harder. Maybe you don't need to like learn a new system or a new theory. Maybe you just need to stop abandoning your own energy. So if any of this resonates, I'd love to hear from you in the comments which one hit you the hardest. And if you want support in identifying the subconscious patterns that might be keeping you stuck, I'm offering a limited number of free 15-minute consultations where we can just look at what might be happening beneath the surface and put a name to it. And then, just call it out. And then once you have that, once you've identified that, you can kind of take that and do with it what you will. I've been doing this with some people and it's just a very eye-opening and beautiful process and experience to have that awareness into the subconscious patterns that might be affecting our lives in ways that we don't yet realize. So also I have the link below for that if you're interested in that. And then also if you want help learning how to return your energy back to yourself, make sure you explore the Yoga Nidra recordings on this channel too. And I just want you to know that you're not behind. You might just need a strategy that works for your natural energy. And that strategy is a lot about like not necessarily projecting better, pushing harder, but going back within and fixing things inside. So I wish you all the best. Thank you. Goodbye. Good night.